Hello everyone, and welcome to the Digital Masterclasses session. Today, we are bringing together experts to discuss how digital communication can help inform and engage citizens. My name is Sandra Mitrovic. I am a social media officer at the European Committee of the Regions, and my role here today is to, very briefly in 2 minutes, introduce you to the Digital Masterclass program, as well as to a few housekeeping rules for today. The Digital Masterclasses is a program launched by the social media team of the European Committee of the Regions. The aim is to provide the committee's members, alternate members, and their staff with digital skills to connect with citizens and their voters online. The program consists of 3 types of activities: expert talks that are presentations given by leading experts in the digital world and academia; practical sessions that offer a more hands-on insight into the world of online communications; and thirdly, we also provide personalized one-on-one sessions to COR members, alternates, and their staff. You can find more information about the program in the links in the presentation, and also my colleagues will share those links in the chat. Now, let's move on to a few housekeeping rules. First of all, this webinar is being recorded. The recording will be available at the EU Regions Week live and replay platform. Secondly, the takeaway documents will be available upon request. The request form will be shared at the end of the webinar. As you have noticed, participants' microphones and cameras are switched off to allow for a smooth webinar experience. We do, however, want you to interact with the speakers by sending your questions via the Q&A button that you will find at the bottom of your screen. Our speakers will attend to your questions in a dedicated Q&A session after their presentations. And lastly, because we really care about your feedback, at the end of the webinar, I would kindly ask you to spare a few moments on our evaluation poll. Now, my time is already up, so I better already introduce our moderator for today. That's Fabrizio Colimberti. Fabrizio is a digital content and outreach expert at the European Committee of the Regions, and he will be our moderator today and lead the discussion with our 3 speakers. Fabrizio, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sandra, and good morning, everyone. Hello, welcome again to the European Week of Regions and Cities 2020 and another digital masterclass by the European Committee of the Regions social media team. Without further ado, the most important thing is to introduce who will talk on this panel. So it's great pleasure that I introduce Miroslav Kolarik, online content manager from the Bratislava Mayor's Office. Welcome to you. Anna Carrillo Pozas, Head of Inclusion, Neutrality and Privacy Service from the City of Madrid. Hi, good morning. And Luis Dayencourt, Business Development Director at Novoville. Now, the importance of social and digital media cannot be overstated. 2019 Eurobarometer survey found that 80% of Europeans use the internet, out of which 3/4 use it daily. More than 2/3 use social media networks, ranging from 94% of citizens in Malta down to 68% in France and Germany. Of course, this data refer to before COVID. COVID-19 has increased the use of digital and accelerated this transition at the speed of light. The line between online and offline has blurred further. For local and regional authorities, engaging citizens means involving them with governance, decision-making, and more. It offers the possibility of greater administrative and political transparency and results. For attendees at the week, you probably know local and regional authorities are the most trusted level of government overall. The greater the engagement, the more easily our local elected leaders can increase resilience, sustainability of our territories, deliver on their policy agenda, and so on. But just how and for what purpose can local and regional authorities use their increase in online and digital? This is what this session is about. So it's, again, with great pleasure that I will pass on the floor to our first speaker, Miroslav. The city of Bratislava as a social media presence that stands out greatly in terms of content and engagement. To what do you attribute your success? What are your tips for engaging with citizens via social media and online? Welcome again, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, so hello. My name is Miroslav Kularik. I'm social media and online content manager in Bratislava's mayor's office in City Hall. And I will talk about engaging citizens via social media in Bratislava, how we do it. So, starting point for us was data. Data consists of opinion polls, research, and best practice. I came from a campaign of actual mayor Matus Valo. We've done a lot. We've been through like over 1 year campaign. And after he won, we came to City Hall and to start to do the content as a city. So we had some data. Out of the data, we set the topics that we will communicate. It's general topics like in every city. So it's from safety and like classic maintenance and services to citizens, even to environmental protection or some infrastructure projects, public space change, and etc. It's like general classic topics. But our goal was to get residents well informed, because well informed residents care more about Bratislava. They create better city, and we, by the communication, can create better city. As they are well informed, they know a lot these days about our steps, about the things that we are doing, and the things that we will do, and also the stuff that we've done. Like they know it all, even thanks to social media. Now I will tell you how we've changed the style. In 2018, when we've come to City Hall, when I went to mayor's office, and I first logged into Bratislava Facebook page, there were approximately 40,000 engagements on Facebook a month. By that, it was like fine, well said, but it can be better. And how we've done the growth to 4 times more engagements in like 2 years. In 2018, it was basic informational channel. There were like press releases, biggest city events, the most important stuff, but suddenly there were no community management or anything that was like getting people into a situation of city. And we try to focus on content that bring value, is valuable, and give information to people. So from basic informational channel, it was like wall with information. We set and create engaging channel covering all important stuff and doing a lot of community management. So we've not just done, we've not just sharing info impacting day-to-day lives. We've done a lot before and after things, and a lot of live content, stories and live streams. We do some examples and educate people how we've done that, and how we've done the things and why we've done them. And after that, the main goal was to listen to the people and answer them. They got a lot of questions, they got a lot of problems, and we need to solve them and answer them. It was not set as that before, but we try to listen and answer everything they want and everything they need. The key factors for successful content and for our successful way of communication on social media is to use right format and right channel to give the best user experience as possible to the people, and have in the content human touch, have the impact on their day-to-day life. And because of the speed of social media, use surprise moment and fun. When there is fun fact or surprise moment in content, they will watch it more. They will stab at the content, and it's great. So the main key beside that is not to source your content from the websites or just like share things, but to create your own content. When we've come to the mayor's office, we create small content house, or the goal was to create small content house consisting of some video guy and photographer and also like writer. We are team. Me and my colleague are working on social media, and we got a photographer that sometimes record a video for us, and then we do the post process, and I'm managing the video from the beginning to the end, for example. So create your own content. And in video content, the less is more. Less, I mean by the outcomes and outputs that you're doing. You don't have to have 4K, the best quality video. Just iPhone, some stabilization and microphone, so good sound is quite enough for social media experience. And what we've seen in the results, the 4K videos with the huge production, when we did some campaign, were not so successful compared to the iPhones. And it's more about content. You just have to have smartphone and go for it. So the key is to have right format and right channel. On Facebook, we do our general communication. We do a lot of different types of content there. The general type of content for us is video because of messaging and delivery of message. It's very, very good. And for Instagram, we do more like lifestyle content. We do live streams, and we do stories that are shared also to the Facebook. So we do a lot of stories. Sometimes on LinkedIn we post HR posts, and on YouTube we post video that are going to social media in general. And to each content, mostly we do edit a link as an extension to web, to press release, to some media output that is like extension for the content, so people can know more. The other important thing is human touch. We do a lot of content with actual people that are working for city, and we do have human touch in videos. It's very important to show the people behind the better city that we are creating, and the human touch and the humanizing of content is very important. So do it with people, do it with your colleagues, and analyze it after. And I think the most important thing is not to just communicate some lifestyle things, but communicate things that have impact on day-to-day lives. The video we've done after huge road closures in Bratislava, we've found out that there will be huge road closures. As a city, we communicated. Then we've done the problem-solving video, that how you can get from the point where our road closures to the directions that are like main directions. That video got organically, with non-paid promotion, over 1,200 shares. It's very popular, and it got organic reach over 165,000 people. So it was like great success, and people were not struggling in like traffic jams, and they know how they can go to their direction. And recently we posted a new upgrade of crosswalks that they will be not slippery in winter, and it was also very successful. So it's like day-to-day thing. the experience was that people in Bratislava fell on the ground while they were walking across the crosswalks during the winter. So by this we bring problem-solving solution for them. How we do messaging? Message is partly included in each post we do. In general, we got continuity major updates. We got continuous visual details. When there is topic, we do series that is visually similar, and also when it's communication campaign, we are trying to do it in 360-degree way, that it's all across online, offline, and also covered in media. By that I mean this, for example, there was these huge road closures in one time, and we've done the offline discussion about it, the presentation of things, how the things will be. Then we've done a set of social media communication. We got the same message on city lights. We got some leaflets and maps for problem solving in day-to-day lives. And then we got media coverage about it. And there was this huge video mostly promoted for solving the problem that people will not stop and will be stuck in traffic jams. For example, even this, there was we do before, through, and after style of communication. Before was the Facebook event, then this was a live stream from the actual offline event, and then afterwards was all summed up on the website of Bratislava. And the other thing, what we've recently done, and we've done a lot, is live content. Go live is the thing. It's very, very important. It's very successful. It's authentic. When you go on a live stream, it's like real-time thing. People love that because you can't cut some problem or some bug in the words or in the things that you showing them. And also real-time stories, or how we creating better city, is like behind the scenes kind of stories that are working very well. And of course, we've done a lot of crisis communication. For example, in the beginning of COVID-19, we've done sets of visuals. We've done sharing one message across all channels. The leader of the change was our mayor Matos Valo. And we've done a video with influencers and public persons to engage people and care more about the situation. It was quite successful. And then we've also done on weekly basis, we've done live streams with mayor. It was like Q&A live streams when people can ask the questions, and on live stream, mayor was answering them like in real time, very fast. It was quite successful as well. And then after the beginning, we've done them information that can share with each other. We've done PDFs and upload stuff that they can print, and the messaging can be done by themselves. So we spread it across the city, and also people can print it themselves and put it somewhere in their house or whatever. And another important thing for content and for all of these is that we analyze a lot. When you want to be successful on social media, you need to analyze and improve it. For example, we got this kind of video, and after analysis and after searching for trends, we switch to square format because it's better for mobile users, and social media is mostly used through mobile phone. And by the surprise moment and by this formatting, we found out that when it's even, the retention was lower, and then people watch it more when it was square format. In 10 seconds, when you see in 10 seconds the audience retention is in 50%, you need to have a specific funny or surprise moment in video in 10 seconds, and you need to like have message or something that stop people to see the content and like stop them and focus on content while those first 10 seconds. So do it. Don't do like intro pictures and like slow stuff. Be surprising, and in first 10 seconds, input your message or put something that is having importance in for people. And how we've done the high engagement, what's the recipe for it? We tell everything if it's important through video. We do a lot of interactive content. We try to create easy to get things and very like simple things, and to out of like very complex problems, we try to set a series of content and have easy to get small posts one by one, and to educate people by each step. And of course, we do tailor format for each channel. We adjusting the content for each channel, and we cooperate a lot with colleagues and update ourselves on a daily basis. It's very important to be updated, because then you can create and answer and do everything more specific and better. And how you know when you've done all of this, how you know that it's well and it's well said? Measure it by data, by discussions, by feedback. I think the very important is to collect as much data and as much as specific data as you can. Read the discussions and discuss with people, listen and answer them. And if you're not sure about something, do the surveys, do the story stickers or monitoring. And I'm sorry. And yeah, and do the feedback of citizens like directly, and try to have the feedback by that. I'm sorry. And
no
try.
worries. We're live. This is all fine. Go ahead.
And try to get feedback from citizens directly. Our mayor got over 30 presentations in 2019. Now it's not possible due to COVID, but we got a lot of offline events and a lot of discussions. So we collect feedback directly. We do the social story stickers. We do the monitoring on social media and even from media. And that's how we get the picture of people, how they are affected by communication. And that's it. Like, that's our style of how we communicate.
Thank you, Miroslav. Mighty interesting. The bell is ringing, but please don't leave, because there already are some questions for you at the end. Jokes aside, 10-second getting people to change behavior, informing them in 10 seconds. That's deadly interesting and among the main outcomes from your presentation. Congratulations from bringing from 40,000 to 168,000 engagements a month, if I'm not mistaken. We'll talk about that again later. Now it is time for our second speaker. Just let me remind first the audience to send their questions. We'll address them at the end. We will, I will kindly ask whoever has posed a question to voice them live. We will unmute you and you will be able to talk to the participants. So please keep sending questions. And now it's time for Anna from the city of Madrid. Anna, the floor is yours.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thanks to the organizers for inviting Madrid City Council I'm on behalf of General Direction of Citizen Participation, and thanks to the participant in this digital masterclass. It's a pleasure to share our experience and present the project we are running in Madrid. It's called Decide Madrid. I'm going to share the screen. Yeah.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Your presentation, just to make sure, the question from our side is, to what do you attribute the success of this award-winning online platform, Decide Madrid, as you're putting up the slide? What would you say were the critical success factors? And to what extent would you say that this model can be replicated by other cities? So presentation is up, keep going.
Okay, thank you very much. So I want to start by giving some information about the city of Madrid and the perception that citizens have of citizen participation. The city of Madrid has more than 3 million inhabitants. More than 90% of households have broadband internet access. More than 98% of the people have a mobile phone, and more than 85% have a computer. And what's the perception of citizen participation? 50% of the people believe that city council makes it easier for citizens to participate in the decision taken. And 41% believe that the city council takes into account the opinions of citizens. I think they are good data, but there is still work to do. 5 years ago, there was no tradition in Madrid in face-to-face citizen participation. And citizen participation started in the digital environment. In September 2015, the digital platform was offered to citizens and their communication channels were opened. We created an open source platform to be able to run the project and to set up all the participatory processes. And we also opened channels on social media to maintain a direct communication with the citizens. 2 years later, the face-to-face citizen participation started. So in 2015, we launched the project and let people propose ideas to improve the city, support proposals, vote, like, or contact us directly through social channels. And what happened with this platform was that citizens welcomed it with enthusiasm, that other governments from other cities started using it as well because it's an open source platform, and that we received an award from the United Nations for the public service of the platform. Decide Madrid is evolving. Today, Decide Madrid is a platform in continuous evolution with more than 460,000 registered users from the city of Madrid. Last week, we launched a new feature on the web, the 3D Plot Designer. It's a tool that allows citizens to navigate a 3D map of Madrid, select one of the preselected empty plot and design it as they like. And these citizen designs are attached at the end of the results of the consultations so that the city council takes them into account. In 7 days, citizens have created 200 designs. So this is our last feature in the web. This is the platform, Decide Madrid. It's a strong citizen participation platform. What we try to do with the platform is to have a tool as wide as we can and to open all the possible channels we've seen all over the world and offer them to be ready. So we have a space for debate where people can join and open a debate about anything they're thinking on the city, its problems or its solutions, and they can build communities between the citizens. We have citizen initiatives. Citizens can make proposals, not about the budget, not about how to spend the money, but about any issue on the city council. And these proposals need required support to be done by the city hall. We have participatory budgeting. This is a big process that allows people to propose and directly decide how to spend part of the budget. We have crowd law. It means that all the new local regulations are published in the platform and people can comment on them before we approve them. So citizens can help us to change all these new regulations. We also have public consultations. In this case, it's the city council that asks citizens a series of questions on a given topic to take them into account. And we have citizen voting. Some big developments in the city, like change the main squares of the city or the main avenue of the city, are also done through the platform. And people can decide exactly how they imagine these places. So Decide Madrid has all these participation channels previously configured in the platform, but it's possible to edit for each process. And this platform has been running for 5 years with a change of government included. So I think the platform is in very good health. And let's see some data for these 5 years running. We have 27,000 citizen proposals. Citizens have created more than 3,000 debates. We have opened 100 processes in crowd law. And the big process, regarding to the big process, the participatory budgeting, citizens have proposed more than 16,000 proposals between 2016 and 2019. And at the same time, in 2015, we opened the social media channels. So I have, as I have mentioned before, we started citizen participation directly in the digital environment. The aim with social media is to spread the participatory processes opened by Madrid City Council, to boost citizen participation and to maintain continuous communication with citizens on issues of open government and citizen participation. And we are working on in two paths. We work to seek integration between systems that were previously unlinked, such as face-to-face participation or local assemblies with digital participation. The present aim is to generate a more solid and resilient participation system in which each of the tools, face-to-face or digital participation, will reach its maximum potential to serve the citizens. And we are also exploring some paths in the field of innovation with technologies such as machine learning, big data, GIS, or business intelligence. How about our promotion strategy? This is a graphic of our promotion strategy. We see we develop a strategy that seeks to generate the greatest impact in the city. We design advertising campaigns based on the objectives of the participatory processes that we want to promote. We develop two kinds of campaigns, branding campaigns and conversion campaigns. And we use all of these advertisement channels. In this graphic, we see in the middle Design Madrid platform. We create a landing for each campaign, and we open some innovative tools such as the 3D map I have mentioned before. And we define the channels we are going to use to make the campaign effective. So we use outdoor ads such as buses, billboards, LED signs. Of course, we use social media with paid post or organic post. We use traditional media such as radio or brochures. And we do digital campaigns like display or CEO, optimization on browsers. And we use a newsletter that we send from the platform to the 500,000 registered users. And this is the most effective channel for us among all of these. Almost 60% of web traffic comes from email. So it's very effective for us. Citizens are impacted by our advertisement on the street when they go to buy or move around the city. This is the big vote campaign we developed in 2017. This is the campaign we have made the maximum diffusion. Outdoors, buses, banners, posters, brochures, radio, press, social networks. We had 183% more visits in the platform and 73,000 more registered users in 2 weeks. Okay. This is our last campaign. This is This is a campaign about a plan we are running in Madrid to improve the district from the south and the east of the city of Madrid. It's called Sures Plan, and it's a branding campaign. At the right, you see the landing. You see advertisements in buses stop, in the street, and we had 157% more visits to the Design Madrid platform and 4 million impressions in social media. So how do we communicate? I'm going to share with you some actions we use that have worked for us. Okay, some tips. In the beginning, we faced some challenges like the technical language in administrative process or previous lack of participation tools. So we had to define key messages to encourage citizen participation. So we defined a key message like, don't let nobody decide for you, the city that you want, you are more powerful than you think, if you can dream it, you can do it, the city that you want will be the city that you want, you are a key piece to build Madrid, change your city. These are these kind of inspirational messages allows us to expand the brand awareness and connect emotionally with the audience, and also helps to boost citizen participation and engagement. But one thing we have seen all over the time is that if proposals take time to execute, to be executed, maybe you can generate long-term frustration. So we recommend to use inspirational messages to inspire people and citizens, but you have to manage expectations, okay? The responsibility of the projects are a way to manage this expectation. We have all opened the contact phases in Decide Madrid, in the platform, and we publish all it's happening with the project. Because, for example, participatory budgeting is a complex process that it takes time, takes a lot of resources to check all the proposals, to check their feasibility, and citizens don't understand why it takes so long, because they don't really know the complex bureaucracy inside institutions. So maybe a project can take 2 years, 3 years to be done, and people don't understand. So we have opened the contact phases, and we inform about the status of each project. This way people can understand that the process is ongoing and build. It's important to amplify the information we give to the citizens on the topics and questions under consultation. We need to announce the start and end dates of the consultations, notify of the time left to participate in the process. We have to be didactic, explain the tools of participation and how to use them. And it's very important not only to announce the start and the end dates of the consultations or of a participatory process. It's very important to explain the topic of the consultation, to amplify the information. In this example, we see our consultation that it's open now about Madrid Isla de Color, Madrid Color Island. It's a project to give nature and forest to the city. It's a very big project in the city of Madrid, and we try to explain all the questions of this project. So it's important that the citizen is informed before participating. Of course, we use rich formats because social media needs a varied type of content, videos, GIFs, infographics, stories, kits. That's very useful to engage with people. This is a simple way to take the proposals to the social media channels. We have share buttons in the platform. So when a citizen creates a proposal, other citizens can see the proposal and the photos or the information given by the author, and they can share the proposals in social media. So it's very useful to spread these proposals in social media, and it is a simple way. And we have done also live sessions. We launched this project, Connective, during the state of alarm for the COVID. We made 9 YouTube lives. We have 5,000 live viewers. The participants could meet with technicians and politics. So politics and municipal technicians could inform citizens about the COVID crisis. By this way, we meet spaces between citizens and technicians, and it's very, very interesting for citizens. We also share the success, the number of participants, the number of proposals, open discussions. We communicate not only the final success, but the small success during the process. It's very important to to share all this data. And in conclusion, I give you some insights regarding the participatory processes. Provide all the information you can about each participatory process. Motivate the authors of their proposals to disseminate them in social media and in all channels so that they get support. Be creative in the content you offer on social media. Citizen participation does not have to be boring. And explore gamification in participatory processes and connect them with social networks. And regarding the crisis, communicating in the crisis area or in the COVID crisis, we launched some projects to help citizens to propose ideas to improve the life of the citizens. So we recommend to listen and collect citizen ideas to seek solutions to the multiple edges of the crisis situation, take decisions adaptively, adapt every second to a changing situation, provide continuous information and transparency, connect citizens that are isolated. It was very important in our lockdown, and make solidarity actions visible. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. That was mighty interesting and very, very strong numbers from your platform. 460,000 registered users out of a local population of 3.2 million people. That's astonishing. Interesting insights regarding how you distribute, how you get traffic, newsletter, 60% of your traffic, really notable, and great insights at the end, I have to say. There's a couple of questions for later, so stick around. In the meantime, Louis, your company is about redefining civic engagement. You offer to provide solutions specifically for local governments. Let me ask you, why is it necessary to redefine civic engagement as such, and to what extent do the solutions lie in the digital sphere? Welcome again, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Fabrizio. Thank you for to the Committee of Regions and to Inspiro for this invitation to attend. It's good to have a chance to speak about what we've learned as a startup business, at least 5 years ago, working in the citizen engagement space over that time. And thank you very much to everybody in the audience for attending this morning. So why is it necessary to redefine civic engagement? To what extent do the solutions lie in the digital sphere? So let me actually start with some definitions. So we understand civic engagement in a broad sense to mean participating in public life around you. And that can translate into voting at elections, participating in a charity, responding to a consultation, or simply demonstrating in the street. And of course, we're not trying to redefine the meaning of civic engagement. What we're trying to do is redefine how sustainable engagement can be achieved on the ground. And in our experience, and that will be my main sort of point or takeaway for the day, is that civic engagement really starts with and at the point of service delivery, public service delivery. So in other words, if you're investigating democratic innovations such as citizen assemblies, participatory budgeting, etc., then you must absolutely also make sure that your city or your region is really covering the basics in terms of quality of customer service. Otherwise, you're raising expectations and you're potentially increasing the frustrations, well, the chances of frustrations rather, and the feeling of being let down. So we're going to start with the picture as we see it today. And, you know, we work with about 70 cities in 3 European countries, ranging from small towns of 5,000 people all the way to large European capitals like Athens. And what I'm going to say today is very much based on that experience. So the pictures you see, well, we can see issues, first of all, with culture. And despite recent progress, and we've looked at examples today of cities that are doing really well, civic engagement is arguably still quite low. What we're seeing is it's either two things. Either A, you get, if you're small, 300, if you're big, 3,000 of the same people who are always responding to your consultations, whether they're on business rates, cycling routes, childcare, or you basically hear nothing from everybody else 99% of the time until there's a big protest and they're in the street. On an ongoing basis, we're seeing little feedback, little conversation from a representative sample of citizens, which would allow the decision makers and the officials to de-risk their decisions. And that's not because the tools don't exist. As we've seen today, there are some amazing tools out there. The problem is more, again, with the culture. And that's because, first of all, modern values are individualistic. Also, politics have gotten technocratic and complex, and people's schedules are packed. You know, they haven't got time necessarily for the complexities of government. That's actually why we have representative democracy in the first place. So I think actually a useful starting point is to recognize that everybody in the audience today, some of the most interested people about the civic, some of the people the most concerned with it. And what we find cool and exciting in this space is not necessarily going to raise an eyebrow for most people. So that's point one. Second point is that expectations actually are still super high from citizens, and satisfaction is a bit low. You know, local authority is one of the better ones in terms of satisfactions, but it's still generally not great. We all expect Amazon level of customer service in everything in life, and when it comes to government, we're not getting it. And obviously we have no workaround. If Amazon doesn't work for me, I don't like the customer service, I can buy a book on water stones. Obviously that can't happen with your local authority. I can't exit, I can't switch for a better deal. And thirdly, quite a well-documented, distrust for institutions generally has set in. Of course, it's not just true of government, but also the media and even science. But it was, for instance, interesting to see at the onset of Macron's great debate in France that he designed as an answer to the Gilets jaunes protests, how that was seen by many as literally just a marketing exercise. So to sum up, we've got relatively low engagement, or when we do have engagement, it tends to be always the same people who turn up to discuss the issue. We've actually got high expectations from citizens in terms of quality of service and not a very high satisfaction, and low trust in institutions. And all of these feed into each other, okay? Lack of trust results in further disengagement, and that can be seen through falling participation rates at elections. So the question is, how do we break the cycle? How do we engage meaningful change that can be seen in 5 years in the turnout at local elections, for instance? Well, what we think is that, first of all, you need to start by meeting the expectations in terms of customer service. In doing so, and in communicating effectively about what you're doing in that space, then you start generating trust. And once a more positive dynamic is set in, then you can start seeing greater long-term meaningful engagement. So what are the expectations? Convenience, speed, and efficacy. I'm using here a little graph again from what came out of the great debate. I suggest you go and visit this website. It will give you a lot of the data that was extracted from people's responses. What did we see? We saw that people wanted an easier way to access, applications, to ask questions, to access benefits. Do we expect things will be very, very different in other countries? I'm not so sure. I actually think across the board, only when engagement is convenient, fast, and efficient will it start becoming a long-term trend. So Novaville as a company, that's what we do. We create digital tools for local authorities to tackle those challenges. And we want our solutions to have a couple of impact on local government. First is we're building trust, and in doing so, saving money. Okay, we think civic engagement would be a lot easier when citizens have had a reasonable experience the last time they got in touch because they needed your help. So to give you a broad idea of the kind of stuff we do, our solutions allow citizens not to spend 20 minutes holding on the phone to check their account or change their address or bank details or anything like that. It allows them to get automated notifications when their application has been processed, when the pothole they reported has been fixed, when it's time to renew their library card. Our tools allow them to park anywhere in the city without having to carry any cash, just with a mobile application. it allows them to volunteer in order to give time back to the community. Our tools also allow you as a city to communicate where people are, for instance, on social media and on people's mobile phones. So obviously this has been a bit theoretical, so I'm going to give you a few examples of where our approach has worked and what we've done. This might be quite a lot of information, so if you'd like to follow up with me later on, please feel free to do so. So let's look at one of Libreville's first and actually largest client to date, the city of Athens. So 5 years ago, they actually came to us and said, we want to give residents an easy way to report potholes. Now, it often starts with that in local government, and there are good reasons for it. And on top of that, in Athens, it's a big issue. It's very hot, as you guys will know. It also rains a lot, so the roads are in very poor condition. Now, we created for a solution a mobile app that allowed people to report potholes or any other environmental degradation, and then get an automated notification as that was being fixed. And it was the possibility to have such an intimate connection with the citizen, which, if it was used widely, could be an absolute game changer for them. Years later, we added more service to the app, and then they came with a big query. They said, could you allow all of the Neutrality app users that are citizens of Athens to actually buy parking time through the app? Now, again, Athens is really known for the difficulties with which you can park. There's lots of cars in the city. It's now possible to do fully mobile cashless parking anywhere in Athens, whether you're parking in a car park or down in the street. That happens on the Neutrality on the Neutrality app or on a standalone app. So that was one of the things that we did for them. Now, last year, looking at their budgets, they realized that they were spending a fortune on watering trees. A lot of them are dying in the hot summer month. The new trees actually have only a 30% success rate, so they'll plant trees, they'll water them, and then the trees will die and they have to start again. So they proposed actually that we built a solution to allow people to adopt a local tree and take care of it in the hot summer month and water it themselves. So we built a module inside the Neutrality app, which by that point does potholes, and it does an e-front desk, and it does mobile parking, where we added a module so that people could adopt a part of the city and said that they would look after it. All of those features are now available to any authority that wants to use them. But in a way, this was kind of just laying the groundwork, because at that point you can start tying things up together. When you've got many services in one place, you can start tying things up together. So did you just buy a parking spot? Well, how about now you answer this consultation on parking and roadworks in the area? We'll give you 1 hour free parking. You can actually do that now with the tools that we offer. So what we're doing here when we're doing this, when we're saying, okay, you've parked, how about you answer a consultation, is that we're embedding communication through service delivery. By giving users a single point of contact, single point of feedback, and even payment, we're allowing them to do that. It's not enough to have just one front door. Okay, you need to make the case for why people should use them, and this is a way to achieve that. More recently, we actually took on some work related to mitigating the impact of the pandemic. So this was in the context of Innovate UK funding, so public sector funding in the UK, backed by the NHS. And this is actually quite a good example of a local authority doing something quite innovative in a very practical way. So we've done a lot of widespread consultations with authorities, asking citizens for their thoughts as we emerged from lockdown on the pandemic and what councils should do going forward. But with some local authorities, we went a lot further. And actually what we designed is a volunteering app so that we can start harvesting all of this new desire for engagement that people felt during the pandemic. It took us about 2 months to put this together, but this now allows the signing up of both volunteers and people in need, matching them up, and then giving you the tool so that you can maintain that community. And if I'm a volunteer now in the area, I download the Neutrality app, I say what my interests are and when I'm free, and then I'll get notifications telling me, hey, why don't you call Mrs. Jones 9 a.m. on Monday? And once I've done that, I can actually report on what I've done and send that information back to the council. Again, all of that happens in one single application. Another example is actually the city of Edinburgh. They've been spending a lot of money in the past few years on marketing and informing people, specifically homeowners, on their duties as homeowners. Okay, majority of housing in Edinburgh and in Scotland has maybe, you know, you'll have 20 flats in a building, in a block. So you've got co-ownership, and that's a very complex collective action problem when you need to like fix your roof, for instance. As a result, the roofs are not being fixed and masonry is falling on people's heads, and it's a very big problem. So how do you bring about a cultural change so that people start realizing that it's their responsibility to fix their roof and it's not the council's? The council had a really bad reputation on this because of a corruption scandal some years ago. So what they did is they didn't create another website, they didn't create a campaign, they actually took part in a government-backed technology accelerator, and that brought about the release of a groundbreaking new app, which fully integrates now the market for repair and maintenance. It means I can download the app, invite everybody in the same building into that app. I can hire someone to fix my roof. The app will even create a bank account for me so that I can pay my share into that account in order to then pay the person that fixes the roof. So it's a sort of complex end-to-end solution that took us about a year to build, but this is going way, way, way beyond what could be expected of the local authority. So this is them really doing things for people. This is the council saying we're going to put our money where our mouth is, and a year later there's a brand new app for people. It's not just a radio ad saying, you know, go to this website for the information. We're giving people the tool to get the job done. So you could say that what I've been discussing today is e-government, and that's a bit different from civic tech. So, okay, there is a distinction here, but I actually think that e-government is actually a precondition for proper civic engagement in the long term. Okay, so it's not just about improving the interface on the policy front or de-risking decisions. It's about improving the interface on the delivery front, because that gets people in a frame of mind where they're going to start wanting to contribute to policy or to take up volunteering in their local area. So what I'd like people to take away from the presentation today is basically start by thinking about people's day-to-day existing needs. Start small, start with small pilots, and then deliver, and then communicate through service delivery, not alongside it. Okay, communication doesn't happen in a silo. It happens every single time that there is a customer touch point or citizen touch point. I think that then when you ask residents to ideate with you, you're going to get much more meaningful results. So what I'd like to leave you guys is really start from the point of view of the citizen/customer. At the end of the day, it's basically the same thing. So again, look for simple projects, simple items which can really move the needle for residents. Not a big plan, but something small and discreet. Look at how you might currently deliver that. What are the main blockers? What are the bottlenecks, obstacles? How could feedback be automated? Where can you reduce clicks, etc.? And then think like a technologist. Try out things. Ask for customizations. Look for incremental improvements. There might be funding available for innovative projects around you. There might be new procurement process that you could use. So go out and explore these around you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Louis. Deadly interesting presentation once again. Civic engagement. We talk about tools. We talk about social media platforms. From the way you see it, we're not there yet because we live in an age of low trust. It's about meeting expectations. It's about e-government as a precondition to things that matter for the citizens, from potholes to trees to payments, digital front desk, and so on. Very interesting. Now, let's open the floor to some of the people who have been sending questions, and I would like to start by with a question from Jens for Miroslav. Jens, question at 9:49 a.m. was the first one. Are you there?
I am here.
Go ahead.
Hi, Jens from Hamburg in Germany. Mirza, was an interesting presentation. It did feel slightly like a broadcast style communication with the traditional social media feedback systems. When we look at what Anna has shown us, there is more of an engagement and a kind of true civic service co-development, co-design process. Do you have that in Bratislava as well? Because I'm really interested in the critical mass, you know, the size of the city, which could be a district in Hamburg or Madrid. Are you working on those engagement processes?
Yeah, we do. We got now a new system for problem solving or like creating projects and stuff. And now, after we are almost 2 years in a city hall, and we got a new person that is director of connecting our colleagues and creating projects by like notifications and ideas, and like he's trying to transform ideas to the real projects. So yeah, we are working on it, and also we got system for like having a database for that, if that's what you ask.
Yeah, it's basically how this will go into the process of the city management, and so you're setting the precondition with your next step out here.
Yeah, we got team for that, and it's like project manager kind of, who is covering the processes for transforming it into reality. Like when there is idea, there is a person that is like managing those projects and those things, and looking after the tasks for people, and then connecting backwards to the citizens.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. The next step from online to the rest of the city administration. To Sergio and Alessandra, they both asked the same question for Anna, equal opportunities. I will give the floor to Alessandra if she's connected. I can see you on the screen, so go ahead with your question, please.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I was asking how many people are involved in the management of the platform at the site Madrid, and in general, the investment in terms both of human resources and fund money, more or less.
Anna, your microphone is muted. And I hope this is not industrial secrets. Go ahead.
Thank you, Alessandra. When we started with the project and with all the channels in the citizen participation department in the Madrid City Council, there were 5 people in 2015. 5 people in charge of everything with the platform. And in Madrid City Council, there are 30,000 public workers. So we were really like the smallest department of the whole city. Now we are more or less 40 people working for this initiative and managing the processes. We have a team who is thinking what new kind of processes we could include in the platform. We have a team working with a technology team from Madrid City Council. We have a small team working with a digital communication and marketing. And so we have a team of more or less 40 people trying to improve the platform.
Thanks.
Thank you, Anna and Alessandra. Now, Lukasz at 9:58. He had an interesting question for any of the three panelists that want to answer. Lukasz, I can see you online, and go ahead.
Hi, my name is Lucas and I'm from a small town in Germany near Munich. We have less than 20,000 inhabitants, and my question is going into the direction of Jens' play in Hamburg, because the critical mass is really crucial, and I would like to know how to apply these processes in smaller towns and cities.
Thank you, Lucas. We have a lot of experience working with a lot of cities in the whole world. In the first 5 years, 2 or 3 years, we have learned that it doesn't matter the size of the population. There are cities like Madrid or Buenos Aires with 3 million people. There are regions like Jalisco in Mexico with 9 million people. There are some cities with 6,000 people. So it's just to scale the process to the needs. In some cities, they just have one voting process and much less money, but it produced amazing changes inside. In general, this kind of process is basically the same when we implement on a larger scale. It doesn't matter if you have thousands of people that participate in the platform, or millions, or hundreds of people. These platforms produce amazing changes inside, because people begin to share a lot of ideas to improve the city, and it's a big change inside the institutions. So it doesn't matter the size of the population.
Thank you, Anna. If other panelists you want to intervene, feel free. Otherwise, we go to another question. We got a few more actually. One that I think sounds very interesting is from Mihaela, sent at 10 a.m. I hope that Mihaela is with us. I can see you. Go ahead.
Actually, I had 2 questions. I presume you are speaking now about the one referring to Madrid.
Go ahead. I mean, you can pose 2 questions and...
Okay, I will start with the one addressed to Madrid. The questions are actually 2. How the identity of the citizens is checked in order to avoid entering in this system some trolls, let's say, and what kind of security and GDPR related measures are in place?
We cannot hear Anna again. Anna. No, still no.
Anna, maybe you muted.
No, does not seem to work. This, I'm curious. Perhaps Louis, as a digital expert, can give us some insights about security and GDPR from his point of view, and regarding trolling.
I suppose, yes. I mean, look, we're a technology platform. We build apps so people can very easily come in and create accounts. The kind of process that we follow is one called, progressive authentication, where you can just create basic accounts in order to do basic things with an email address and a password. And then the more you need to access services, the more we authenticate you. So, sometimes you end up having to do, people need to upload, say, the passport picture or driver's license in cases where there's money moving hands, when we need to do, your customer checks. I think what's important in terms of security is that you don't create obstacles early on for people to actually engage. So things are open and it's easy to get in the app. It's easy to get on the Decide platform, for instance. But then, you know, the more you get involved, then the higher the level of security and the authentication required of the user. That's kind of the way that we work.
Thank you. Anna. Technology is fading. Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, the platform is connected with the census. So all the 460,000 registered users are people registered in the census. So it can be trolls or fake users. Because when one person registers in the platform is connected technologically with the census in Madrid. So the platform checks if these people are resident in the city, etc. This is regarding the trolls in debates, for example. We see some people, even that they are registered and registered in the census, but in debates they act as a troll. So we have to moderate debates sometimes. It don't happen a lot of times, but we have sometimes to moderate some people with this behavior. But the technology is linked with the census.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I have another question for Miroslav from G. Frachidis. If you're still connected, it's another question about human resources, and I'm starting to wonder if social media teams, social media experts feel under-resourced. I don't see G. Frachidis appearing. It's a similar question, Miroslav, to what we had before. How many people in your team, and what do you need for your efforts?
Okay, it's a tough question because it depends on each team and the set of style of cooperation. The base of the team is coming from the campaign. So we've did over 1 year campaign for running for mayor. And after elections, we came with the base of the team to the city hall. We got like advisor for communication for like huge messaging, political stuff, and the like most important contents of communication. He's kind of supervisor taking care of messaging and of the continuity of the whole communication. He's also suggesting us like most important moments in communication, and the base is the base of social media day-to-day communication is consisting of 2 people, from me and my colleague. We are both working on videos. We get like stabilization, iPhone, microphone, and creating content. Beside that, we do monitoring. We do answer messages, comments, and all of the stuff that is quite important. Then we also create, analyze the content, and she's more creative in sense of videos and like preparing the content in creative way. I'm more a tech guy and strategy guy who is taking care of strategy and like big picture of our communication across the channels. And I'm also setting on the promotions on social media. I'm taking care of campaign project management kind of. And we got a photographer who is external but working for us, and he's also shooting videos now. So we are basically free, but for whole communication, we do have meetings as a whole team of communication, which is offline, some media team, and we are, like in general, we are two as a core, and about 6 to 7 people involved in the whole process. So where there is like quite important campaign or process is at least 5 to 7 people involved in that process, but the core for day-to-day work is 2 plus 1, and +1 is the photographer.
Thank you. That was extremely clear and detailed. I have another question for Louis, as he has a more global, holistic view of platforms. He looks at many cities, he engages with many local and regional authorities. It's about COVID, which of course you touched upon in your presentation. To what extent has the pandemic impacted the services that you provide? And has there been a sensible and fast acceleration to the new normal? How are local and regional authorities adapting to today's 7 November 2020, the hybrid world where we now live in?
Sure. I actually think that most of the examples I've got are of local authorities doing quite a good job, reacting when the pandemic started. I'll take volunteering as an example, because when people needed to self-isolate, they set up systems so that you could go and deliver the grocery shopping for someone who needs to stay at home. They set up services so they would phone up people very regularly. They did that in a very ad hoc way on Excel. But what we did is to take those things that had started and embedded them in a proper tool like a mobile app. So generally speaking, we've been quite impressed with what local authorities have done. We think that they've met the challenge. They can't do it on their own. Obviously, they need startups like ours and maybe other consultancies to come in and help. But we think obviously COVID has led to more demand for digital-based public services for sure, but also actually more of an offer for it, because councils realized that actually they had to do that now. So, overall, the pandemic has had that positive impact, I suppose.
Thank you. That makes sense. It's 10:56 in Brussels. We started a tad late, so I have one last question from the floor for Anna. From Claudio, if you're interested in speaking. I can see you, so that's great.
Yes,
Claudio.
Hi everybody. I'm
Go
Claudio
ahead.
from Marseille. Yes, my question was for Ana Carrillo. Have Madrid citizen design of the city and the one of urban planner or politician ever got in conflict? I mean, you allow citizens to vote for design projects, but I'm sure the town designers to have a vision of the city. Were there in conflicts, and if yes, how did you solve them?
Thank you, Claudio. Yes, when we talk about these processes related with the urban spaces, this is a fear if you have to design between experts or citizens. But we think that you don't have to decide. You have to mix it in a clever way. So you have to design the process mixing the different paths. So you have to understand, or we have to understand first, that the decision can be taken by experts, and some decisions can be taken by citizens. For example, the decision about a square, if you want more green or less green, you don't need to be an expert to decide. You can imagine the city. So we let the experts to think about these questions when we open the process. And we design a process mixed with the experts in a committee inside the city council and with the citizens that can express their opinion about how can imagine the square, for example. So it don't be, it's not necessarily a conflict between experts and citizens, I think.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you, everybody. Empowerment of citizens engagement. We're living a great moment of transition, experimentation, innovation on all fronts. Thank you very much to everybody who has been following. Appreciate it. Thanks for everybody who has been sending questions. Sorry if a few we couldn't address. Thank you to all the 3 speakers for great presentations. Now I'm only the guest. The social media team of the committee, of the European Committee of the Regions, is the real host. So I'll pass it over to my colleague Sandra. And thank you very much for me.
Thank you, Fabrizio. Indeed, both you and the speakers, you were very efficient in answering most of the questions from the participants. There are a few that are left unanswered, and we will aim to tackle those in the takeaway documents. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, you have to sign up if you want to receive the takeaway document from this webinar. And in the chat, you see a link, a survey link, where you can sign up for the takeaway document, as well as for the future sessions of the digital masterclasses. So we have come to the end of this webinar. Before you leave, please, we would like to hear from you. We would like to hear your feedback. So I would kindly ask my colleagues if they can launch the poll. And we will leave you a couple of minutes to answer. In the meantime, if you have any questions about the digital masterclasses or this webinar, feel free to reach to us via our email, socialmedia@cor.europa.eu, or obviously we wouldn't be a social media team if we wouldn't share our handles that you can also see on the screen.
Sandra, while people voting, I'm curious to know what's next. If you have already selected topics, I know you adapt continuously throughout the year.
Exactly. Every month we have new topics. So this is something, and thank you, Fabrizio, for raising it, that you will find out if you register to receive information from the digital masterclass. We definitely have something in store coming up in November related to communications on the Green Deal, if this is something that you're interested in, as well as a session within the EuropeCom, a flagship event of the European Committee of the Regions. Okay, I think with this, you can also see the results of the voting. Thank you for everyone who has participated in the poll. And I think with this, with 2 minutes delay, we can end our workshop, our webinar. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you to the speakers. Thanks, Fabrizio, and thanks to all the participants.